Known worldwide as the queen of rare groove, DJ Soul Sister has hosted her Soul Power Show on WWOZ-FM and at Right On Party Situations for nearly 2 decades in this, her native New Orleans. One of the longest-running live DJ artists in New Orleans, she's a veteran radio programmer and host of the longest-running rare groove radio show in the United States. She's a vinyl collector, a crate digger, a party promoter, and a local tastemaker, highly regarded and respected not only in New Orleans, but all around the world. Please join me in welcoming DJ Soul Sister. Great to see you. I didn't mean to pull my hand. We know each other already. I'm excited that she's here because I love her radio show. There's, you know, OZ is a treasure, but you're a treasure within a treasure. So thank you for being here.
Oh,
why don't you talk? Why don't you speak a little bit, just to make everybody in this room know what you're about, a little bit of background about your beginning as a DJ, and I have it on some good information that you were once a student here at Loyola. Were you not?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So the way I like to answer that question all the time is to say I started off as a crate digger. And what that means, crate digger is the term for, it's like a kind of a cult thing, you know, people who look for vinyl records, soulful vinyl records. You have a lot of hip hop producers talking about crate diggers. And, you know, we'll go into strange situations like weird attics and on trips and, you know, things might crawl on you, you know, all for that, the rarest, most soulful vinyl from the late 60s through about mid-1980s. And there aren't many women in the movement, and I've been doing it for real since, you know, before I was here at Loyola, which was like 93, 94. So when you talk about DJing, I was a music collector first. Right. In order to do anything in music, you know, one hopes that you love music. Right. So yeah, I did that first. And then I was at Loyola for a minute. I was in the first, I don't think Professor Rankin remembers me, I was in the first ever music business course. It was not a program like this. This is so incredible to me. It was a 1-credit course, and I was in the class with David Pulfus, and it was the hardest 1-credit A I ever got in my life, but I loved it. And I started doing radio here. It was WLDC. I don't think it still exists. It was like on AM radio, you could hear it for a 2-block radius, or on the campus monitors, you know, it was, no one listened at all, but we had fun. And that's how I learned how to do the technical part of it. What I do on OZ is everything I learned when I was here. And I wound up graduating from UNO, but I started here.
Well, we'll claim you as our own. That's good. You know, you drew a distinction when we were speaking a little while ago about what it is to be called and referred to as a DJ, and what you're afraid that might mean in people's minds that really needs to be explained a little bit. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a deep conversation.
Well, that's what we're here for.
It's sort of like, wow, people ask me all the time, how can I be a DJ, or how can I do this or that? No, a lot of people ask me to teach them how to be a DJ. And I say, well, what kind of music do you love? And they can't tell me, so I can't really help that person. I refer to myself as a DJ artist first because I use the art form of DJing in what is known as the original disco style of mixing and blending. There are different styles of DJing. There's turntablism, where you see tricks, and then there's the original disco style with mixing and blending and all of the The technology that came from that, the crossfade mixer, the 12-inch single, you wouldn't have hip hop without the original disco style.
Yeah.
You have selecting culture, which comes from Jamaica. You know, we could go on and on and on. But you have to have the love of the music. And I'm not a DJ. I like to throw my own events. So I was really fired up to see a lot of people coming up and talking about things that they're doing, especially if they're throwing it themselves, you know.
So what does somebody mean when they say, teach me how to be a DJ? They just mean the technical details
Right,
of...
and then they might get a gig and someone will hand them a list, say play Britney Spears and Justin Bieber, and you go home depressed at the end of the day and you make money, but that's not how I've chosen to live my life.
Right,
and
because you've chosen to do something that incorporates meaning and your passion.
Yeah, and that really goes for any form of musical artistry, whether you're behind the scenes or you're in front, if you're playing jazz or punk rock or hit or rap or whatever, you know, if you have a love for it, then it's not a job you want to do it, and then people feel that when it's not genuine, that comes off real quick.
Well, so you're passionate about this thing, and you have a point of view that tells, you know, that you bring to it that says, this is my art.
Yeah,
right?
and I represent for soulful pioneers. So the music that I love, let me explain what rare groove is first, because you're probably like, what is that? Rare groove is sort of a catch-all name for soulful genres, not soul music per se, but soulful music from the late 60s, 1970s through mid-1980s. Funk, jazz, Afrobeat, Brazilian, roots reggae, anything soulful, you know, salsa, underground disco, true school hip hop, through golden age hip hop, anything soulful. So, and rare and obscure, you know, the classics, the top 10 stuff, yeah. But we dig, that's what the crate diggers do, we dig for the deep stuff. And that's why when you hear a lot of the hip hop records that sample this stuff, you don't know it because someone has gone overseas to dig for some crazy record that no one has ever seen before. Yeah. And, you know, they slip it past you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the art. I mean, the idea that we're talking a little bit about the difference between entertainment, like consumable entertainment, and art, which is interacted with. You know, I don't think that art is not entertaining, but I think it's interesting to think about the differentiation between pure entertainment and art, and you seem to carry your art into your urge to entertain, and that's the red thread that runs through your work, which is up to you then to sort of create your brand, and you've been very diligent and good about defining and creating your brand and doing your own marketing and promotion.
Right.
And you've been quite adept at handling social media in that capacity. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, as far as a brand, I was listening to everyone who had their announcements, and I was waiting for someone to say not only where they played and how much it cost and what time it was, but sort of what the mission was behind it. You know, what is this about? I will tell you in just a few words, any party that you come to for DJ Soul Sister is called what's known as a right-on party situation. That's all you have to know from those words alone. And, you know, a mission statement or something like that can help differentiate your events from the 500 others that you've been invited to throughout the week.
Yeah, and I mean, I talk about, in one of the classes I teach, I talk a lot about a mantra, you know, 3 to 5 words that are why you do what you do, or are exactly what you offer. And I think that's it's an idea that we take from Guy Kawasaki and his, you know, his writing about startups and business and focusing your business, focusing your offering on something. And it seems like that's something you intuited pretty quickly, that you were going to differentiate yourself. It's not a question a lot of people knew in who are creating new art businesses are asking themselves, what's my differentiator? Why me and not the other person? What's special about me? What makes me a snowflake?
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? And so can you speak to how you've incorporated social media into your efforts to show us your snowflake?
Yeah. Wow. It's really funny because social media makes it so easy to communicate.
Well, what do we mean when we say social media?
Okay.
Are we talking Facebook, Twitter?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and photos and
YouTube,
things like that.
Flickr?
YouTube,
You
yeah.
use Flickr that way?
I use TwitPic,
Instagram,
I'm not
TwitPic,
even
yeah,
on
right.
Instagram
Right,
yet.
right, okay.
But I will say, just using social media is not the way. You have to know how to use it. What I like to tell people about Twitter, you ever sign up for a Twitter account and the only thing that they say is playing 8 o'clock, Snug Harbor, second show 10 p.m. That doesn't help me. I just picked Snug Harbor. I like to go to Snug Harbor a lot. But you know what I'm saying? It's conversational on Twitter, and then Facebook. It has to be interesting. This is not just a laundry list of a date and place. It's got to represent who you are. As an artist.
Yeah, it's a conversation, right? You're hoping to strike up a conversation, and so you got to bring something to that conversation. And Twitter is, the charm of Twitter is that it's like passing notes in class. You can say anything you want, and basically brand yourself in 140 characters. So do you find that that's what's been distinguishing about what you do in social media? Can you tell me a story about a way that social media, the way you use it, paid you back?
Wow.
Well, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I mean, you can speak in general terms.
Because I use it for so many different things. I really use it to connect.
All right, then let me be more precise in my question. How do you feel you use social media to make people understand who you are, where your values are?
Well, I'm just 100% who I am. I only post the music that I love, and I only talk about my voice. I told a friend of mine, you really, people like to joke and say Twitter is not real life. If you look at someone's Twitter feed, you can kind of get their energy and personality, and that really works well for an artist, or it might work against them, but that's okay. Then at least you are, down for what they are about. If they're really posting real stuff and not just laundry list of dates and times.
Absolutely, they're putting themselves out there. They're bringing something to it, right? Substance over style.
Yeah.
Right, and that's, and you found again. You're not sitting here talking to me about your 5 rules for doing social media correctly. You're talking about intuiting yourself, intuiting your way towards something, nosing your way towards something by basically knowing how to be a human being.
Yeah,
right? How to be basically decent.
Or fun, or whatever it is that you want to, that you're getting across.
But to bring something to the party, right? I mean, you're not going to show up for a party empty-handed.
Right.
Right? You don't bring nothing. You bring something, and so you got to bring something to the party. So what do you have to say? That weird Twitter, what are you doing now? Question that it's supposed to be asking. I think that shortchanges it a little bit, but.
My Twitter ID, by the way, is DJ Soul Sister with an ER.
Yes, not an A.
Not an A, no.
An
I did that in inspiration from my mother, who was a teacher, because she never let me get away with Soul Sister.
Yeah.
So that's in honor of her.
That's great. Do you have any thoughts at all on DJ culture as it's kind of grown? And it has obviously surged. Has it been diluted? Has it splintered into many wonderful things? What are your feelings about the way DJ culture is sort of
here in New Orleans,
blown up,
or
here and around the country?
Around, okay.
Yeah. You can speak to both.
That's a hard question because the only thing I can break it down. I don't know. That's too. Let's see. DJ culture is fabulous and I'm not against the technology. And for those of you all who don't know, I only play vinyl, and I'm not someone who's going to be like, oh, I hate Serato, which is like one of the ways to do it digitally, or CDJs or anything, but as long as the digital equipment does not become a crutch for the skill needed, and also music taste and love of music, there are a lot of DJs. There's this new thing, the celebrity DJs. A lot of people get upset, and Paris Hilton is like waving her hands and playing a DJ party. There's overground and underground and everything. So I choose to deal with the soulful underground and artistry. And I played a party with Erykah Badu once, and she DJ'd, so she actually used my turntables. And I used vinyl, and she used Serato, which is like you use a computer, and then there are vinyl decoys. So it looks like you're using vinyl, but the music files are coming from the computer. And she was brilliant. She was brilliant because she knew it. Her artistry was on point. So I will never talk badly about someone who is a celebrity DJ or using the digital, as long as they know what they're doing.
Yeah. So
then the iPod DJs, I just can't get with it.
Yeah. That's just dirty. Are you a believer that the most interesting stuff happens in the underground? Are you that kind of a militant person?
No, I'm not. It starts there. That's why what you all are doing right now, 10 years from now, who knows? But it starts underground. All of the big groups that you see, they had to start somewhere. So, and it reminds me of when I did my 3 years at Essence Festival. I was the main stage DJ for Essence Fest. So, I do my wild funk parties, every weekend, and then I wind up on stage at the Superdome for 3 years playing before Janet Jackson and Beyonce. I almost got blown up by Chris Brown's fireworks one year. Walking off stage, yeah, they didn't tell me you'd go that way. And I knew I couldn't be as wild as I normally was, but I had to bring some of that. So yeah, I would sneak in some things. Otherwise, it wouldn't be Soul Sister.
It wouldn't be authentic.
Right, exactly.
I think that's something else that we neglected to touch on when we're talking about social media, and it's great that we have this opportunity to talk about the need for authentic voice. Right? Can you speak at all about what it means, what authentic voice means to you?
Just like it says, if you don't believe, no one else can believe in you unless you believe in yourself. It sounds real cliche, but it's real. And that means being authentic. If you're not authentic on a stage or in a dealing with somebody, it comes across. It comes across. And as far as what I do, I represent for Soulful Pioneers. I love funk music and soulful music, and that's real. That's not a fake. I've been this way since I was a little girl. And
what does it do to you? What does that music do to you? Why when, since you were a little girl, did that music move you?
I have no idea.
What does it do to you physically?
I mean, it's soulful. I love it. I love it. But at the same time, when I was in elementary school, I used to listen to a lot of punk rock music. So that's a lot of my energy too. When I'm wild. When I DJ, I'm barefoot, Yeah. Like I have that wild, do-it-yourself, I don't care attitude, mixing soulful music. Yeah. And I came up in what is known as the golden age of hip hop. People refer to it in the late 80s and early 90s. I was in elementary and high school. So that's where I get my love of DJ culture from originally, because I was listening to a lot of hip hop and wanting to know where original samples came from. So everything that I do now is an extension of everything that I've gone through. So it has to be authentic, otherwise it would come off as fake. I mean, I'm 20 years in it. It would look real silly if I was
still
fake.
curious as to what you feel when you hear the music. I'm still curious as to like what the state change in you is, because in so many cases I talk to my students about the value proposition that their music brings, right? And the value proposition in most cases is basically a state change. Mm-hmm. If you listen to music and you're sad and you listen to music and it reflects your sadness, that's one way. If it brings you out of sadness, that's something. If it makes you get psyched for a wild night out in the town, then that's something. I'm curious as to what soulful music and the soulful pioneers did to you from the time you're a little girl that it's still doing to you now.
Okay. The only way I can answer that is to say my secret. If I had a sound, I always loved things, and this will sound funny, in happy or sexy keys. A musician once tried to explain it to me, told me I like sus chords, and then I heard something with a sus chord, and I was like, I don't like that. So that, I got rid of his argument.
Musicians always think they know everything.
But with that said, I know that's what I like, but having played for so many people over the years, I think that brings people out of whatever sadness that they're in or a bad state of mind. I like music that just has those keys, and I can pick them out of any genre.
Do you see music as medicine?
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
I think
also how you listen to it as well. Music and when I throw a party, for instance, it's not just me setting up somewhere. I pay very close attention to the ambiance of the space, the acoustic sound. All of that is so important to a musical experience for me in a live setting. So.
Do you see music as love?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. I love that answer. So then what you're selling, because you do this for money, you make a living. I mean, you earn money doing it. I don't mean you do it for money.
Right.
You do it, but money is a byproduct of what you do.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what you sell, what you are selling, and what you're exchanging for dollars is an experience, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit about that?
I'm not sure how to, I mean, as far as a DJ Soul Sister, whether in a DJ situation or a band situation, someone could always call someone else. Why does Jazz Fest call me to open for CeeLo Green and Lauryn Hill and Tina Marie and Chuck Brown versus someone else? Because
can you guess a few guesses for me on that one?
Well, I don't know.
Why do that? Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Because I'm crazy?
Yeah. Well, maybe part of it is because you're crazy, but you're crazy, good crazy. Wouldn't you say it's because your product is really good? Your product is high quality?
I believe in it. I believe not only in the music, I believe in the art of mixing. Mm-hmm. I think people, especially when I was doing Essence Fest, people like to see the vinyl thing. A lot of people would come up to me and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're still playing wax.
So you have things about you that make you different and special, which is great. We've talked about that in a couple of ways, but I guess what I'm talking about is the higher concept, the idea that you offer a premium product. right? You bring some. I mean, not to put it in coarse terms, but the thing that you're exchanging for dollars is something of a very high grade, and it comes from your attention to detail. It comes from your passion for what you do. It comes from your desire to express love and caring and dispense medicine.
And that's why it's never a job. That's why 20 years later, you know.
You've never worked a day in your life.
Yeah. And you pay dues, but it doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah.
So when you do what you love and you are consistent with your mission and your art and what you want to bring to the table, you might not start off with money and recognition, but I've seen it. It will come, but you have to be consistent about it.
Yeah. You sure you only did the one credit course? Because you sound like our entire program right now. It's like, that's exactly what this is about.
Did the course, the off-campus.
The off-campus. Yeah, you did the life experience course.
Which I will say, I recommend internships 100% for.
Can I ask you to speak a little bit about what you do besides DJing? Because you do other things, and you're involved in a lot else. And you have a Monday night film series at Cafe Istanbul.
Yeah,
How do you get into that?
As far as Soul Sister, I do my live shows here locally. Every now and then, I don't like to travel because traveling with vinyl, see, that's the only reason one day I might switch to a digital thing, because traveling with vinyl is a nightmare, okay? And, but I do travel. In November, I'm playing at the Exit Zero Jazz Festival with Ramsey Lewis and Christian McBride and Nicholas Payton. Exit Zero, that's in Cape May, New Jersey.
Oh, that Exit Zero on the Parkway.
So I get to do wild stuff around the world, I also do my radio show every Saturday night on WWOZ 90.7 FM from 8 until 10 p.m. And I do things, I like to promote events that I don't see happening anywhere else in New Orleans that represent for soulful music culture. One of those things, it's been very popular. It's only been going on for a couple months. It's called the Musically Speaking Movie Mondays. Every Monday night, a free movie, music-themed or music documentary. And tonight's film, so when I leave here, I'm going straight to Cafe Istanbul, is a film called WTF, you know what that stands for, an OK-mentary, which was a documentary that was done about the community around okplayer.com that supported artists like The Roots and Common, Little Brother, in the underground hip hop world. And the next Monday is a film called Down the Roads, a documentary about the Fender Rhodes piano. Wow. So, it's all about music, soulful music. And some of the people in it are like Patrice Rushen, D'Angelo, and all kinds of cats. So free every Monday, come on out.
So that's the through line for you, is like, that's why you can do what you do and be who you are and run a film series.
Yeah.
Because there's, again...
And I write articles from time to time on music. I like, it's all about music. At some point, I don't want to be the 70-year-old female DJ, So I will still be Soul Sister, representing for soulful culture and music.
That's beautiful.
A number of things.
You want to speak a little bit about radio and kind of what's so great about radio? Because I'm sort of a radio geek. I love radio. I still think radio's magic. When you talk about low power AM that you can hear in 2 blocks, I still think that's crazy. That you can sit at the curb in a car and hear something over the air that makes you picture things.
It's so different now because there are, podcasts, like the whole technology with the internet. It's different from when I started. But truth be told, when I started doing the WLDC and WWOZ, it wasn't because I wanted to be in radio. It was because I literally wanted to be around more music. That's all it was. I was painfully shy especially when I went into OZ, I had no desire to be on the air. I just wanted to lick envelopes and help out. And 20 years later, I'm still there.
Wow.
So.
That's really, really great. Well, I'm glad you are still there. I don't know how much time we have. We have, not that much time. I want to ask you one general question and then maybe open this up for questions. Is that all right? Q&A? We have room for Q&A. I'm going to tell you something you don't know, which is that you're a woman. and I want to ask you if does that factor in any way to your worldview? You know, you represent soulful culture. Do you ever feel like you represent women?
All the time.
Right on.
And it's important to do that.
Yeah.
Because I want women to see me and to see any other woman doing something in the music industry where there are not a lot of men, you know. It's really, really important. And, you know, you can ask whatever questions. Has the sexism.
Why is that important?
Because we just need to see that there's someone out there. You know, when I was in the 8th grade, one of the main reasons why I even thought it was okay or acceptable for me to use turntables as my instrument was because I was watching Yo MTV Raps and I saw Spinderella, who was Salt and Pepper's DJ. Yeah. And I saw her on the video. I'm like, that's me. You know, she has records and she's dancing and having fun and jamming. Yeah. That's me.
And I still think, I personally think, I mean, I'm a father of sons. I don't have any daughters. If I did, I think I'd have my heart in my mouth in this world, because I think that what somebody like you offers women is a representation of a woman in this business that isn't a two-dimensional caricature of womankind. So much of what a woman is in the music business and in entertainment business in general is just, a woman can be in the business as long as she's 2D, as long as she is a character. She's a bimbo, or she's a slut, or she's the tough girl, or she's the whatever the hell it is. And that's like, where are the people who are like your sister, like your mom, like your friend? Where are those women? And I think that you know, I think that that's one of the things you do a tremendous service to women by being a three-dimensional human being as a woman in this music business. I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I
I'll
really
clap
want
for that.
No, it's really important to represent for women and young women and just have them see, you know, see the representation. No matter who you are or what you look like, you know, I was famously in Wax Poetics. I'm the only woman to have been featured in Wax Poetics magazine, which is like the Rolling Stone of the crate diggers. And they talked about this situation that I went through. I went to Guitar Center to buy some gear, you know, some whatever, turntable cartridges. And a guy says, the clerk, he's like, oh, is this some stuff for your sons? And I'm like, I don't have any children, you know. This is for me. Yeah. So, you know, I still to this day have to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I see it all the time in my work. I represent a female, and it's really frustrating. We go to Guitar Center and they don't talk to her, even though she's the guitarist. They talk to me. That's just, it's just insult.
Kind of clerks.
Yeah. So do I. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Does anybody have a question for DJ Soul Sister? Yes. Do we need to run a microphone? There we go. Great. That's Mika. That's Mika, DJ Soul Sister. Mika Grossman.
Yeah, this is working? All right. Hey. I'm a big fan of Mimi's on Saturday.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I was just wondering what your, like, how you feel about that atmosphere, like even now, since you've been doing it for so long.
Can you give us some background on that, by the way?
Okay, yeah, thank you. I throw a party every Saturday night. It's been running for about 8.5 years. It's called Hustle. And people from all over, come and dance to soulful music from 11 o'clock until 4 in the morning, sometimes 5. Not only do people, young and old, all races, all types of people, come and dance to this rare groove music, but they dance on the tables, they dance with each other. We also have a lot of celebrities that roll in there every now and then. Apparently Solange Knowles was in there a week ago. Michael Stipe has been in there, Lenny Kravitz.
And this is at Mimi's.
Yeah, this is at Mimi's. I can't remember everybody. And local musicians, jazz, funk, everybody's come through. So I love it. I chose the place because it had the right feel and atmosphere and sound and acoustics for what I wanted to do. However, you all may have heard or may not have heard, Mimi's is the latest in the local neighborhood bars to have been temporarily, we hope, have been shut down by the permitting and zoning things happening to some live venues in the city. So for the first time in 8.5 years, I don't have a Saturday night spot. But we hope to resume really soon. A lot of people have called. Kermit Ruffins called me the other day. He wants me to bring the night there. So we'll see. The Saturday night party will resume somewhere.
All right.
If not back at Mimi's.
You'll have to keep us posted. Anybody else? Question? We only have time for like another question or so. Sandy, go ahead. Oh, okay, sorry.
Thanks, Sandy. Hi, I'm Bo. I had no idea that all of the stuff I loved on OZ was you, so thank you. I really dig that show. But I've been collecting records since I was like 12 or 13, and my tastes are pretty similar. I like soul, jazz, Afrobeat, that kind of stuff. And I was wondering if you had any advice for people who were, already into crate digging, already into looking for rare records, but were like, not necessarily trying to make a profession out of it, but trying to expand their influence and trying to get people to listen to what they're doing, especially if you don't have like a means to broadcast it or even like enough money for a PA or like another deck,
Now ask that a question. Ask that again.
Would you have any advice for someone who's kind of making a transition to just being a record collector to someone who wants to share that taste of music with other people?
Okay.
Go from being a collector to being a DJ.
You have to buy gear and do it. I will tell you, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I started because I saw Spinderella and I asked my dad to buy me some DJ gear. He bought me the stuff, he bought me the wrong kind of stuff. And I sat on it for 4 years. And then one day there was a terrible rainstorm. I mean, it was flooding outside. I'm living at home with, my mother. I'm like 18 or something. And I say, Mom, where's the DJ stuff that my dad bought me when I was in the 8th grade? She's like, oh, I sold that at the garage sale a couple of years ago. I'm like, what? And I got in my car and I drove in the monsooning rains to Odyssey Records and I bought some stuff because I just wanted to do it. You just literally have to you just have the passion. Just buy some secondhand stuff and play in your room or have parties for your friends. I mean, that's how it starts, just the desire will take, do it by doing it. And you don't have to be a hardcore crate digger. I never wanted to be a professional DJ. I just wanted to share music. So, Well,
thank you so much for being here. Really grateful.